Hello everybody, welcome back for some StormGate action. We are back at the Alpha Navigators Cup. In the round of 4, we got the man himself, Don ILYA, going up against Lorimbo on the Infernal pieces, and of course DONILYA at the Vanguard. We saw him play in our last video. And the Scout. Trying to make sure that there's no sneaky building or expansion over there. Iron Vault is down at the ramp here for Lorimbo. And the Scout just trying to be annoying with the Imp. We see one worker already on the Therium mine. And a barracks being constructed without boost, I think. Or we just missed it. So probably going to be building a lab here right away. Oh, now uses the boost, actually. So going for that Beryllium Claws build, I presume, with the Scouts doing that extra light damage, are very good at annihilating all of these resource camps and, of course, taking out Imps and sniping Gaunts. They excel at that. Imp is ready here to expand, but the other Imp expands instead, so couldn't be blocked by the Scout forever. Nice move by Lorimbo. And let's see what we get. We do see a lab finishing up here. Beryllium Claws starting up right away. And we see additional Scouts coming out already out of one barracks build. We see Habitat going down, so all of this was on 15 supply. Do see a meat farm going down for Lorimbo as well. So he went for a super fast expansion build here, only building an Iron Vault just in case. Then going up to a Brute here. And of course he doesn't yet know what DONILYA is doing. He might have played him before, might have heard from previous opponents how he likes to play. But we know that he likes making these doggos, these little puppers. And still mining one Therium, so going to be progressing into that Lancer build after, I presume. Conclave going down for Lorimbo. And this little impy boy, oh my god, look at the damage on these Scouts with the Beryllium Claw upgrade. I think you need like, what, 3 hits? Or maybe 4 hits from a Scout? And you just kill a worker. That's insane. That's very strong. And you see 2 Brutes just kind of running around trying to get their hands on these puppers. Now we have 5 of them on the field, and DONILYA is planning to take down all of these resource camps and really supercharge his economy whilst keeping that map control. Making sure that Lorimbo can't do any of these creep camps and move ahead himself, especially with the Gaunt now online. Lorimbo would like to take down some of these neutral camps so that he can build up his Fiend count. Let's look at DONILYA, still sitting on 1 Rax, but now getting that command post up. 4 Bobs with the overcharge seems to be the standard nowadays, and it just boosts that command post out. It's almost just warping in, just like it teleports in. Oh my god, all of the dogs running in here. They do see the Gaunt, but they don't get on it. Don't manage to snipe it, because if they would have committed, they probably would have died, or at least 3 of them would have died, and that would have given a lot of Fiends. Oh my god, the healthy dogs get split off, immediately targeting down the Gaunts, 2-shotting it, and now there's a Lancer on the field, and Brutes don't particularly like face-checking Lancers in the current edition of the game in the Elephant patch. Another Gaunt is online. Let's see what we see in the main for Lorimbo. He's mining some Therium. 1 of each buildings, no greater shrine just yet. Do see a Shroud Stone here for some defensive purposes. And we see a couple of Fiends here running around now. I guess he did manage to get a neutral, or he blew up a Brute for that. Oh, and DONILYA actually going through the trees here, cutting them down and securing a 3rd expansion. And I think this should be your 3rd expansion on BrokenCrown almost every game. Even though, as a Vanguard, you do kind of like this as your 4th. This 3rd base actually gives you Trellium, and this 3rd doesn't. And also, you just kind of leave yourself open to being attacked. Like Lorimbo's doing right now. If ILYA manages to just break these and do an all-in, like this Shroud Stone isn't doing anything. If any additional defenses get placed here, they just don't do anything. But instead, we see a Shroud Stone going down from Lorimbo. being very aware of the fact that that could happen. And just preempting the whole thing. Maybe it's also very good against the Hornet builds. That could be going on behind this. Doggo into plane is pretty strong. And now finally Lorimbo does get an opportunity to take down this speed camp with the guns. That's 5 potential fiends right there. For free. Dogs are running around the map, making sure that there's no base hidden over here. Lorimbo's taking his third base over there, of course. Still no... Oh, never mind. Greater Shrine is down. And what do we have here? Shadow Cleft is coming up. So we might be seeing some of those Magmadons come out. Or even the Hellborns. All built from the Iron Vault. Oh, look at that. The Lancers do have their upgrade now. They some speedy boys. So if you're Lorimbo right now, you want to make sure that when you take a fight that you can handle it. Otherwise, these Lancers won't let you ever retreat. 2 barracks here from DONILYA. Also see a sentry post in the main, just in case any Doombringer shenaniganry could, of course, occur with the Shrine. Greater Shrine, you can make Doombringers from the Conclave. And do a cheeky drop. And we've seen Infernals attempted. Now, third base also online. Additional barracks being built. Sentry post there as well. This looks like a habitat, but it got cancelled halfway because the Bob just got distracted. Classic. Resource camp level 2 online now. Don ILYA just running past everything here. Kind of trying to maybe push into this third base. Put a little bit of pressure on. Oh, that looks like a big army. All of these brutes and the fiends. And the dogs now also. They don't really want to fight against the brutes. They do get hit by the gaunts. I think you really want to wrap around with those doggies if you want them to fight. You want them to get onto these gaunts. We already saw them delete at least one of the gaunts. 2 more barracks here from DONILYA. And he does have... Oh, secondary command structure coming up here. Tier 2 command center is done. And a 4th base is already online. Wow, Don ILYA really pushing the envelope here. Getting more and more economy up and running. Scout is flying out to probably check the 4th base. Oh, look at that army. 3 Magmadons already online. 4th one coming in. Probably got the Demon Trample upgrade already, so these Magmadons, when they trample on top of your army, will be mini-stunning everything. Now, there aren't any Exos here just yet. Oh, we see a couple here. Because these Magmadons are mostly scary against a high amount of Exos. Oh, he killed a Brute, I think. Oh. Do see an Exo in that sentry post. Doesn't get repaired though, and now the Magmadon goes on top of the army and stuns a lot of it. Does get targeted down now, but in the meanwhile, a lot of DONILYA's 4th base is being destroyed here by Lorimbo. Kind of forcing him out, or putting himself in between the army and the 4th base, and the army not big enough to challenge Lorimbo at this point. We do have some medtechs here healing up the army, but this is a lot of low HP Lancers. Come on, medtechs, do your job. And they are trying... Oh, and another big trample from this Magmadon. Kills a lot of trees and units at the same time. We do see the Bob overcharge coming out. 100 armor on these bad boys. They stay alive for a long time. Trying to repair each other, actually. They're on auto repair. So trying to stay alive here, not pulling them back. They're tanking a lot of damage, actually. And these Exos, oh my god, look at the Exo count suddenly increasing here. So DONILYA purely reinforcing with Exos, and now with the Exo upgrade, getting shots onto... Oh my god, no, this Magmadon comes in from the back. You can't kite if I am everywhere. And we see this big Midnight Pulse coming down, reducing the vision, and I'm not sure damage from these units. Don ILYA doesn't have a lot left, and Lorimbo just overwhelming the amount of fiends that we see here. These gaunts really paying for themselves, and as soon as you kill 2 bases full of Bobs and an army, you will have a lot of fiends spawning because of that debuff from the Gaunts. And DONILYA GG's out of that game, and Lorimbo takes the first one. And we are here on game number 2. Secluded Grove is the map. And again, we got DONILYA and Lorimbo. DONILYA now down 1 map. Is he going to stick to his guns? Immediately mines Trellium again, goes for the barracks. Looks to be going for that Beryllium Claw opener again with the 1-Rax Puppy Expand. And what is Lorimbo doing? He does have an Iron Vault again. Is he going to Iron Vault expand once more? The scout did a good job of blocking the shrine for a good bit in that first game. I'm actually surprised how that game ended. I felt like DONILYA was in a good position. But the Fiends are really overwhelming. And there goes the scout blocking this potential expansion from Lorimbo. And good job by Lorimbo just pulling 2 imps right away, knowing that if I pull 1 and it gets blocked, it's just going to delay my build for so long. But you can put your shrine in a lot of spots here. And there we go, boom. Imp does construct a shrine in a nice position. And immediately Lorimbo also mining a little bit of Trellium, so eventually he will be able to afford the Gaunts as well. What do we see here? Yep, probably going to be Beryllium Claws on the puppers. And let's see if DONILYA can actually find a Gaunt early on in the game and kill that. Or maybe some imps as well. Now running in with 2 puppers, Beryllium Claws is very close to finishing. And this imp all alone. No giant here or brute to defend. And look at that, that imp goes down right away. 3rd pupper enters the fray as well. Oh no, where are the brutes? Just more scouts coming in to deal damage to this mineral line here. And this 1 pupper is very much in the red, but we do see a couple imps going down. I think we already saw 2 to 3 imps going down. And going for another low HP. Oh my god, big surround on 2 of the dogs here. And only 1 scout gets out with his life. Ooh, a little bit too greedy there from DONILYA. Now what's he doing behind it? Now starting an expand of his own. Sending 4 of his Luminite workers to go and build a natural. Immediately boosts it. And oh, look at that. Actually exploding a brute here to get the fiends to perhaps chase down a low HP scout, but those fiends are a light unit, so suddenly the scouts can actually turn around and fight. Oh, that imp also going down, not able to turn into a meat farm to defend himself or a shroud stone at that point. And now this 1 scout with the +1 veterancy buff already. He's rank 1, baby, and he took down another imp. He's an expert at this point. Fellhawks trying to get off that meat farm to try and attack, but as soon as they go back to the meat farm, they have to return to the meat farm before they can launch themselves again. Kind of like an interceptor from a carrier. As soon as it like stops attacking, it will fly back to the carrier and then it has to get out again. Lancer here defending against the brute that did move across the map. And we also see the Lancer upgrade coming out again. DONILYA sticking with his guns. And what seems to be a pretty solid build, to be honest. Going for that 1-Rax Bio Lab into a couple of Beryllium Claw Scouts. Into an expansion with a 2nd barracks. And a 3rd one. Into Lancers. Is this a 3rd one? Yeah, definitely. So this is a quicker barracks than we've seen from DONILYA in the previous games, but we see no Conclave just yet, just going for the Conclave. So maybe DONILYA is looking for a little bit of a timing. He knows how many imps he has killed. And this looks to be a Shroud Stone? Or no, it looks to be a meat farm. I'm not sure if this was built to protect an imp. Oh, look at this brute. Was on move command. Oh my god. And the scout just gets slammed down. You can pet and kill the dog in this game. Brute kind of petting a little bit too aggressively. Lorimbo did take down a nice resource camp there, going for another one. We also have resource camps over here. This Fiend, I love these Fiends. You just explode one of your brutes and it kind of feels wasteful, but you can use them to scout so well. And a pretty early third base coming out from Lorimbo here. But DONILYA not really thinking about a scouting just yet. Going for a vision camp here with his Lancers. And we can see that blue shimmer. He does have the upgrade ready for his Lancers. And only mining one dude on Trellium right now. So perhaps making sure that he can transition into Exos later on. But definitely doesn't want to be producing them just yet. Oh, there he goes. Bunch of workers thrown onto the Trellia mine. And the Lancers are out and about. We do see one of these Lancers running towards the third base, perhaps. Going to get a very nice scout off. There we go. Of course, these things are like burrow Trellia mines, so you have to break them open first. And the Lancers going in. Vision camp being denied here from Lorimbo. Let's look at what Lorimbo has. He has one Conclave, one Iron Vault worth of units. And we see one Brute and two Fiends coming out to shoo away this Lancer. Exos coming out now as well. So DONILYA believes that if you have 7 Lancers, you can start adding on a bunch of Exos. And look at that. King of the Hill, baby. Just like we saw him do last time. Going for the center of the map for the super base. Now 4 Lancers hacking away at the third base, whilst the rest of the army is kind of getting chopped down. And maybe you should have brought like one worker to open this path up. I'm not sure, just brainstorming. Oh, and the Exos don't have their upgrade yet, so running away from them is hard. Lancers trying to target down some of the Gaunts, and look at how tanky they are, but they are stuck here and getting destroyed by Lorimbo. The other side, though, this force did manage to kill the force of Lorimbo, so not everything is lost just yet. And so far, he doesn't know. Lorimbo does not know about DONILYA's expansion here in the middle of the map. And if he realizes too late, he might just be open for a Rude Awakening or a World of Hurt. Does try and scout for a third base, doesn't find it. Also has a Fiend over here. It's like, where is your third base? You know, Spidey senses are starting to tingle here for Lorimbo, or are they? Our Iron Vault going down. We see the Shadow Cleft, so we can be seeing, or can start seeing some of these Magmadons. Let's look at this magnificent Giga Base. Double, what is it? Luminite mines and Trellium deposits for you to mine out. And Lorimbo, he tramples down the trees and he's like, what up? Surprise, here's Johnny. But doesn't quite dare to go through the choke. DONILYA not defending the choke either, though. He doesn't want to take a fight at all. Wants to stay close to his sentry outpost. One barracks does get targeted down. Oh, look at all the bounces from these glaives from the Gaunts. What a unit. What a unit. The Bobs go on auto repair once again. And this sentry post doing a nice job with an Exo inside. Really does a lot of splash damage and can do a lot of damage to these small Fiend type units. Well, we do see another one of those top bar abilities land on top of the army from ILYA. And the sentry outpost did get taken down. A lot of Bobs are getting taken down, but half the army from Lorimbo isn't fighting the army of DONILYA. He's taking very good trades. But in the meanwhile, Lorimbo is kind of taking down his third base. So we'll have to see who gets out on top there. Exos do have their buffs, so they can kite out this Magmadon. And now it's only Gaunts here. And the Exos are ready to shoot their laser beams. The railguns are locked and loaded. Oh, the Magmadon does get in range on those Exos. And look at the damage that these Magmadons can do to the Exos. Actually crazy. And now DONILYA only sitting on 2 bases. Lorimbo juicing it up on 3 base. And a lot of gaunts here. Look at the bounces. Oh, barely can't bounce because the Lancer's a little bit too far forward. Nice positioning by Don ILYA. And I don't know if he should be taking these fights. Like, there's nothing to defend here anymore. But if he goes back, then what can he do? Meanwhile, Lorimbo just big chilling. Has a 4th shrine, getting 11 workers plus 9. A lot of Trellium into the bank. So many workers here and so many gaunts and Magmadons now. And now maybe Lorimbo actually thinking about expanding himself to the super base. Getting some Shroud Stones up. Making sure that no extra expansion can go up here. DONILYA sticking in there. A lot of Exos here with a little bit of Lancer frontline. Now we do see... Oh, the Bob's going for a hidden expansion in the top here. Taking down the trees, not taking the long way around. And look at this army trying to get something done whilst he expands in the top left. And now the top bar ability used by the Infernal, making sure that the Shroud covers the entire map. Look at the Exos targeting down those Magmadons. Very good kiting here from the Vanguard player, accidentally attacking the Trellium mine there for a couple seconds. But still, taking down Magmadons one by one. And Lorimbo really trying to get his Magmadons onto the juicy backline. Oh, this Magmadon's stuck behind the Gaunts, and the Gaunts don't want to be frontlining here. Now the Exos do get caught by a couple of those Magmadons. Magmadon comes in from the right, but the Exos retreat to the left. Snipe all of the Magmadons, and now the Gaunts are... Actually, both players retreat. I thought these Gaunts are just up for grabs. Wow, that was such a good trade for DONILYA, though. Now gets to heal up his entire army on this Met station. Has a 3rd base halfway done. And Lorimbo hasn't expanded yet. Hasn't taken this middle base. Does have a lot more Magmadons and Gaunts. He's just adding imps now as well. No, not adding imps into the army. He's just trying to expand now. Look at that. Lancer does scat it out right away. DONILYA, what are you going to do about it? His whole army has been healed up now. So it doesn't need to take those heal camps at all. He just has a heal camp at home, you know? Ritual Chamber has been thrown down as well, so we could see even higher tech units. We don't see a Twilight Spire, so no air units, but we could be seeing some Weavers come out of the Conclave here, which have that abductability to really abduct these medtechs, abduct a couple of these high veterancy Exos. Look at that, 2 level 3 Exos. They will do a lot of damage. And you only need a couple of Lancers here to tank up. Make sure that these units can't move past without using their trample. And this 4th base from Lorimbo just gets immediately denied. Or I guess it's a 5th base? Do we call a Trellium base a base? I think we should. These Shroud Stones, clearly only for the early game. They don't seem to be doing anything against this massive army of DONILYA. Look at these Lancers just taking all the heat away from this mass Exo force. And as soon as these Magmadons try to trample through, the kiting starts from the Exos, and they are targeting down the Magmadons beautifully. And only one Lancer now left in the front, couple stuck in the back. And the Exos do try to move away, but ooh, Magmadons do grab a couple of them. Imps now put into the army as well, but no Lancers to explode themselves on right now. How do you get on top of these Exos if you're Lorimbo? It's very tough. Look at these Magmadons. They're just getting annihilated. Oh, and there come the imps. A lot of flame up imps. Try to go in. Nice splits here. Looking like StarCraft for a little bit. Is that you, Marine King Prime? DONILYA, nice splits. Oh, the Magmadons do get juicy hits onto all of these Exos. Look at all of the Exos. Super low, super red. Do get killed by the Gaunts. Couple Fiends do spawn, but he doesn't commit for the rest of them now. Super low. And even ticking down with the debuff there. Who barely doesn't lose more Exos. And ILYA taking the middle of the map now does have this 3rd base up and running. Adding on more barracks here on the side. And actually is now completely back into it. Look at Lorimbo's side of the map hasn't taken a fourth and lost the fourth in the middle of the map. And now he's kind of backed up into a corner. We do see a Doombringer coming out. I love that. Just put a couple of those gaunts in there and go drop. One of the bases of DONILYA actually going for a fourth base here because his main base was mined out. So he just grabs all of the bobs, moves over to the fourth base. Additional barracks were added on, so we're running at 6 barracks now for DONILYA. Look at the amount of Exos and now Lancers as well. Only 3 Metechs. Because, you know, he just has a couple sentry posts and that is all he needs. Curious if he couldn't be pushing his advantage a little more here. Oh, we see the Hellborns come out. So that is how Lorimbo wants to deal with this endless kiting of the Vanguard. He's like, if you're gonna kite me, I'm just gonna throw some concentrated hatred at you and retreat myself. My Magmadons never have to commit. I just wait till you have to commit because I'm throwing big concentrated hatred balls from a screen away. And these do a lot of damage with splash as well. So if you can target down a couple of these high veterancy Exos, they can be very effective. But the army does look a little smaller from Lorimbo. The army from DONILYA looks very strong and also highly ranked up. Like we see a level 3 Exo, we see level 2 Exo, level 2 Exo, bunch of level 1s as well. Kind of crazy. Now moving in, the Magmadons are in the front. First one gets targeted down immediately, so the Exos get their buffs going. And now the Hellborns do throw their projectiles, but they're thrown into the front line. I'm not sure if you want to be throwing them into the front line. And the Magmadon does try and get through, but he's stuck behind the Lancer here, and all of the Magmadons have been killed. Only 2 in the back here. Fellhogs go into the meat grinder that ILYA has set up, and there's just so much Vanguard in this base of Lorimbo. Now the Magmadons do get a nice cheeky overrun. Flaming Imps from the back, and the Banelings, or the Flaming Imps, do get a lot of hits there, but it doesn't seem to be quite enough. Shroudstones keeping Lorimbo alive here, though. Exos retreating now. Finally, these projectiles have softened up the Exos enough. And they can start killing some Exos, and that's the most important part. In the backline, we did see a Gaunt drop happening, but this sentry post dealing with that Doombringer very well. Oh my god, what? I am bullshitting out of my mind. Actually, an entire base from DONILYA died. I mean, we were watching the main fight, but holy moly, these Gaunts went crazy. Luckily for DONILYA, he doesn't really need anything from his main base. Like, it's nice that the habitat is still alive, but he doesn't really need the biolab anymore. Because he already has all of the upgrades. He's not even rebuilding it. Because you don't need it to build certain units. You only need it for the upgrades. Another base going down for DONILYA. 5th base going down. He has both of those corner expansions now. Doombringer just chilling out. Has no more Gaunts to drop. And now Lorimbo, he's just getting backed into a corner more and more and more. His main base has mined out. The natural probably soon to run out as well, seeing how fast he expanded this game. And now DONILYA even looking at his pure Trellium base, being like, I don't know if I agree with this. Medtech stuck in these small trees. Oh, and one of the Magmadons gets targeted down immediately with the Exo. Look at how far back most of the Exos of DONILYA are. He's like, just send in your Magmadons so I can target them down with my Exos, and then we'll go from there. Magmadons do try to trample on top of the army, and we see DONILYA immediately running away. And as soon as the trample is done from the Magmadons, get targeted down, and now these Lancers also completely juiced up. Oh my god, the Flaming Imps go in, get pretty decent hits, but don't manage to get the juiciest of hits that Lorimbo really needed. And Lorimbo does call GG, and DONILYA takes game number 2. And we're going into game number 3. And we're back on BrokenCrown Hinterlands for the final game of this best of 3. DONILYA tied it up back into a 1-1 in that last game on Secluded Grove. Very well played. Took the center, lost the center, and then expertly fought himself back into that game with excellent exo control. Now, the players did switch colors for whatever reason, so please note that Don ILYA is now the red player, even though he played blue for the first 2 games. And Lorimbo is, of course, now the blue player for this final game. We do see an Iron Vault expand coming out of him again. And on the other side, we see Don ILYA going for Beryllium Claws on the Scout into an expand himself. Or at least so far. Imp going to the far right to expand? Really? That seems like such a vulnerable position. Oh, Imp can't... Oh, he was just hiding from the Scout. But these Scouts have very big vision, so hiding from them is hard. Well, let's see if this Imp can get the Shrine down. A second Imp joins in to try and get a Shrine down. One of them will get it down. Hup. And there we go. We have an expansion down for Lorimbo. And we see more Scouts coming out. The Beryllium Claws being researched as well. Seems like a very fun build from Don ILYA. You get so much momentum from these early Scouts. And then you can go kill Imps. And if you think, this guy... Some players will put down an Iron Vault and a Conclave and just have their Brute there, so you can't really go into the natural. Then you just kind of stop at 5 puppers and you just go kill all of the resource camps. He can't do anything, and if he comes out of his base to try and contest, you immediately snipe all of the Scouts. But here, Don ILYA goes with the Beryllium Claws, eats up the first Imp of this game, tries to go for a second one, and he... Look at this, like... Limera doesn't know if you're making more Scouts. Now he does see the third one run in. Another Imp in danger. And another one dies. Oh my god. Shroudstone is almost complete so that the shenaniganry can finally stop. And a Fellhound does get a nice surround onto that one Scout. So at least one Scout does go down, but that was a lot of Imps killed. Trellium was not mined. And we do have 2 Brutes now for Lorimbo, and his expansion is finishing up. Double Trellium workers here for Don ILYA. We haven't seen him put 2 on. We've only seen him use 1 worker. Is he going to 1-base this? Is he going to, like, put down 2 more barracks, get the Lancer upgrade, and go, go, go? More puppers coming out so far. These puppers are quite expensive in Luminite because they build really fast. So even though they are quite cheap, you're still spending quite a bit of resources on them per minute. Now, 2 Brutes walking on into the base of Don ILYA. Do we have a Lancer? We do have a Lancer, which can keep Don ILYA alive here. 1 Lancer, maybe a Bob Overcharge, and of course the puppers can definitely deal with these Brutes. Ideally, we would get a secondary Lancer, though. Oh. Puppers do give a free hit to the Brute. Let's see what's happening on the other side. We see another Shroudstone coming out. Really respecting these puppers. Oh my god, and the Brutes just get sacrificed there by Lorimbo. He's like, no, you're gonna surround them and kill them, so I'll just make the Fiends, and then those can get out, so I get some of my army out. But actually... the dogs are very fast, and now, oh no, this Brute is on move command, and now gets surrounded as well by these dogs. Oh my god, nice play here by Don ILYA. Oh, so beautiful. What a surround. Worker of 3 Stilo coming out. Conclave also being built here by Lorimbo. And Lorimbo is not out of it at all here, because he has a very fast second base. Don't forget about that, but... in the meanwhile, Don ILYA is taking down these resource camps to kind of further his lead here. Do you see 2 Barracks Lancers coming out? Again, Don ILYA really liking that style. Not thinking about Hedgehogs, not thinking about Hornets. Just thinking about Scouts and Lancers. And then maybe we'll get some other units after, I don't know. Do see an upgrade coming out. Probably that Lancer upgrade for now. But do we have a greater shrine? Not yet. Another Shroudstone coming down here. So very defensive position from Lorimbo. Doesn't want to be dealing with those puppers all game. And one Fiend does run in, gets a scout, and he scouts that he got killed by Lancers and an Exo here. So probably Exo upgrade is next on the line. And with those 3 workers on Trellium, just getting more workers into his Illuminite mines. Habitat is down. For some extra supply. Now we see Greater Shrine as well. So what's Lorimbo going to do with that? Is he going to make a Doombringer here? Or is he going to throw down a Shadow Cleft? He is looking to maybe get a 3rd base here. Forward meat farm as well. And now 3rd base for Lorimbo. Okay. And what does DONILYA think about that? He's sending out his whole army. As soon as he spots that. Only has 2 barracks right now. Popper's trying to see if there's a base behind here. That leads me to believe that he doesn't know that this is happening. Or that he wants to make sure that there's no secret base there. Gotta check sometime. Now look at this army from Don ILYA. Apparently we were disconnected for a couple seconds there. Lancers tanking up a lot here, trying to get onto the Gaunt's. Dogs could dive onto the Gaunt's, but they're not doing it, and the Gaunt's getting in a lot of hits here. And all of the splash going onto those scouts right away. Lancers tanking so much that these brutes getting annihilated by the Exos here. And now DONILYA getting on top of the 3rd base here from Lorimbo. And what can he do about it? Now these Exos are a little bit exposed, but the Lancers step in front right away like, nope. You can't do that. And now in this choke point, what can DONILYA get here? He gets the 3rd base. Oh, some reinforcements run into the army of Lorimbo, and this is how it starts. Lorimbo, oh, actually, that Exo stays alive, and Lorimbo just builds a 3rd base in his face. He's like, no, that's my 3rd base. And immediately gets cancelled again from DONILYA. And now DONILYA actually has a 3rd base down. Oh no. We do see a Magmadon coming out here. So Shadow Cleft doing some work here. Getting those Demon Tremor upgrades. I don't know, it has such a long, weird name. It's like Demon Tremor something. Demon Tremors from the Depths or something like that. But it basically makes the Magmadon mini-stun when he does the trample ability. Which is, of course, very good. Helps the rest of your army catch up. Make sure that the opponent's army isn't firing all the time. And, of course, when you get onto those Exos, you can do a lot of damage. Three, 4 more barracks? This is a lot of barracks. 4 more barracks coming out from DONILYA. He sees this army. Oh my god, and this Magmadon gets into the middle of it. Oh no. Slight miscontrol. Vanguard not quite doing the right movement there. Not kiting back. And look at all of these army units dying with the Gaunt debuff on them. Spawning a lot of fiends for the army here of Lorimbo. And now can DONILYA hold on here? His army is so red, it's so small, and the Gaunts infesting all of it. And oh my god, the momentum shift here. DONILYA, where are all of your units? These 4 barracks barely not online. And that one bad fight in the middle of the map. Lorimbo is snowballing it. And do see a little bit of a Shroud outpost here. I'm not sure what it's called. But giving himself a little bit of Shroud standing, giving his units more yellow health, and oh my god, 2 Exos there in the back get caught as well. They were rallied there from the 3rd base, and another one goes into his death. More Lancers come in, but it's very hard to deal with if your units are coming from both sides and running into the opponent's army. Now some Lancers in the back trying to deal with these Gaunts, but it's a lot of Gaunts. And now we also see another trample, mini-stunning these Lancers. These Lancers can't get away, get blocked by the Gaunt. And now we only see 3 Exos. All of the Bobs are taking up the line, and they are overcharging. Get that 100 armor. Maybe these Exos can do a lot of damage from behind, but the Bobs now start dying. Lots of Fiends start spawning in, and I think the writing is on the wall here for DONILYA. His natural is gone. All of his main Bobs are gone. And even though these 3 Exos are alive, I feel like all of his hopes and dreams are slowly disintegrating together with this army. And now Lorimbo. Oh my god, look at the amount of fiends. How can you do this? How can you ever fight against this? The main base is also taken down. And now DONILYA fighting from his grave. He's a Yu-Gi-Oh player after all. Using the graveyard to his advantage, but the last Bob's now going down to a big trample play here from the Magmadons. His production is being camped, and DONILYA GG's out. And Lorimbo actually taking the third game and this series in the Alpha Navigators Cup, number 7. Honestly, I thought after DONILYA's start that he would close out this series, but Lorimbo really clawed his way back and took one great fight in the middle and managed to snowball that advantage into a dub. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this series. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.